Hello and good afternoon. My name is Jürgen Steinmetz and I'm joining you today from Honolulu, Hawaii. Today is March 8th, 2021. And with me, as always, is Peter Tarlow. And I can only tell you, Peter, it's raining here. Do you guys have a little bit better luck in Fort, no, you're in College Station, Texas,
Right.
not Fort Lauderdale, Texas. I'm
No,
sorry.
College Station, where it's 70 degrees and we have blue skies.
Wow. Okay. Wonderful. Okay. You're in the luck right now. I may not even
We
be able
are,
to
yes.
go swimming today. So
Yeah, we had our terrible ice storms, but now today's high was 72 degrees and the skies were blue and there wasn't a cloud to be seen. So they must have all stayed in Hawaii.
no, absolutely. Well, I'm very exhausted because we now just recently in the last few hours finished our new website. So if you see us on the new website, you will understand. If not, go to eturbonews.com. It has a whole new look, and hopefully you like it. Whether you like it or not like it, give us your comments
Give
because
us feedback. Let us know what you
we
think.
would love to get your feedback. I I think if we try to make it more clean, we're integrating our videos. There are going to be 3 video channels on it and a podcast channel you can easily maneuver to. And we cut down on advertising, also on ads between posts, what would hopefully make it easier to maneuver between articles. So just let us know.
Well, I think the whole fact that you brought up the website to start, really the headline, I think today is the intersection of physical travel with cyber travel. Because at some level, the websites are a way that people are able to be connected with the world and not necessarily physically travel. On the other hand, I think much of the world is really tired of being home and tired of not being able to travel. And so we're seeing a real desire on the part of people to start physically moving and to be in contact with each other. And so we're seeing lots of cross currents. Maybe that's the way to look at it. We saw today the CDC gave information that was literally at cross purposes. By the time you're done reading what they have to say, you almost have no idea what they're saying. One of the big issues, of course, is people traveling and crossing borders and how that's going to interact. Um, Many places have decided to give up the mask mandate. Other people think that's very foolish. And so one of the issues is going to be, do people go, will we divide the world into the masked world and the unmasked world? Or how will we see people traveling? So right now you're going to have some of the ironies that on a long flight, you have to wear a mask on the plane, but then when you get to where you're going, in many places, you could take the mask off. Now, again, I'm not recommending that. I'm just pointing out that's a reality that has to be looked at. And so I think the whole issue of people are just suffering from COVID fatigue. And how do we maintain this sense of urgency, this sense of really watching what needs to be done when a lot of people just don't want to trust government anymore. They just don't, the government says X and they do the opposite. And that's really going to impact tourism.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, Peter. And I have to say personally, I'm very disappointed with our administration here in the United States not to stick on the mandate for masks. It's simply too early. No one wants to wear a mask. Of course not. It's not comfortable no matter how you see it. And it's something what is not natural, but it's necessary. We still have this virus just here in Hawaii where our virus numbers are very low, but just today we detected the South African strain of the virus.
Right.
So this is not finished yet. The
No.
mask is necessary. There are not enough people vaccinated to even justify this. So I don't really know what is going on. The other thing, also the advice we're getting from the CDC now, ever since this mask topic is a major topic, is literally an advice which is not correct. there is a need for people to wear KN95 and N95 masks. These are the more protective masks. And for the CDC, cloth mask and regular surgical masks are completely okay, and they're not recommending to wear the other mask. And
Well, you understand it's not only a question of cloth masks. The CDC today, it's definitely indicated that if you've been vaccinated, you don't need a mask at all if you're with other vaccinated people. Now, some people are going to applaud that and say that's brilliant. Other people will say that's really dangerous because you don't know where somebody else might, you can still infect someone even if you have had your vaccinations. So we don't really know. What we're getting is cross information from the CDC. It's not
yes,
clear, precise, and it seems like every day they contradict what they said the last day. And so what happens is the public doesn't take it seriously.
no, absolutely. And every state is different. I
Right?
mean,
Every country is different.
there are states out there where people simply don't wear masks and think mask wearing is just a bad habit. And there are other states where you get fined record amount of money if you don't wear a mask. So there is no consistent guideline in this country. And that is, for me, it's very disappointing.
Well, one of the things I think it's, throughout the world, there are now inconsistent guidelines. So I don't think it's only the United States. But I think the real issue is how easy do we make it or not make it for people to travel? So, for example, when I got my second vaccination, I was given a card. I then had a second card made and had it laminated so that it's put into my passport. But in reality, nobody knows if these cards are fraudulent or not fraudulent. And there has been talk of maybe we should have a universal green card of some level or a travel card that people can say this card will be recognized every place. The problem is everybody has different standards. It's kind of like crime in tourism, that there's no one standard of criminality. There's no one standard of crime. And secondly, it will be incredibly easy to replicate illegally, to falsify. Now, I would rather see than that type of card that a chip or something be put into your passport or into your driver's license. Certainly, our driver's license in Texas have the black strip on the back of them, and it has all our information. So just like when you put your credit card through, the same thing can be done with a driver's license or a passport. And that would indicate at the time that you got your second vaccine, yes, you have now been vaccinated twice. And it would be it couldn't be fraudulent. So when you take that, and then you have, of course, the horror that's going on the Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, California border, where you have children by themselves, where you have kids in now, where they don't call them cages anymore, they now call them reception centers, but it's the same, it's the same building, they just changed the name. And so many people are now coming across the border who have COVID. As you know, Greyhound bus lines is now refusing to let people on. Many of the airlines have stopped or are demanding proof before they'll let anybody on. And because they're overloaded and there's no social distancing anymore, they're just sending people around the United States, including Hawaii. And that will be a real issue because we could be now up to well over there. We don't know how many illegal people we have in the United States, maybe 11 million, maybe 30 million, but we may have at least 1 million a year or more coming. And many of those people will bring COVID. And so problem now the public sees is wear a mask, but my government's going to let lots of people who are sick cross the border. And so that's a real issue. But I think we need to have some level of indicating that, yes, I have been legitimately vaccinated. And that could be with a driver's license. It could be with most states are like Texas. They have the black band on the driver's license. And so you can easily use that driver's license like a credit card. It's not a credit card, but you can use it that way. Or your passport.
Yeah. And this is really a good idea. And hopefully authorities are
listening.
have to be progressive on this. There is really no time. We all want the travel and tourism business to come back. And this is an excellent way of speeding it up. And if people can agree on a global basis to do this, it would definitely do wonders for economies, specifically in areas that are relying on the travel and tourism industry.
Yeah. So when someone gets on a plane, they don't have to go through all the pain of that issue. They don't have to go get an exam 72 hours prior. They can do it right away. And now I understand also that they have this new breathalyzer test that can be done right at the airport, like 2 minutes before you get on the plane. And again, that would really simplify things radically, and make it so much easier for travel if you don't have to go and get a test and have a swab and you know, you could just speak to the person and a little sign comes up said, good to go. And you get on the plane.
Yeah, and this is actually in Europe, it's going on. I know in Germany, if you wanted to see a concert or go to an event, you can actually, depending on what type of event and where you sit, if you're either you have to be vaccinated or you have to show that there is a negative test. And this is the type of test what gives you a result within minutes. I think it's only good for a few days or for 3 days, but it's required in Germany, for example, to go to public events. So that would maybe give us a chance to open
Yeah,
concerts again.
they're using
Uh,
that also in Israel, where
right.
it's whenever you go to a public, it takes under a minute, and it also would allow the biggest problem in much of the world, and that is the closure. It's not a tourism problem, but it is a travel problem, and that is the closure of school systems, and the fact that children have been assigned to learning via computer. Of course, they're learning much less than in classroom learning. Parents can't leave because somebody has to supervise the children. And of course, the suicide rates since COVID began and they closed the school systems is enormous. So uh, that's both in Europe, the United States, and Asia, where suicide rates have gone up by almost 300%, by 3 times what they were on normal years, because children are isolated one from the other. So if they could go each day just before they got into school, hello, how are you? And that's enough to take the breath test, and then, okay, come on in. That's going to make life really so much simpler for everybody.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And this is a whole new monster. It's the mental health system, I think, is going to see some hard times, even when we're done with Corona. And well,
Oh, it's a long time. And one of the things that really helps mental health is travel. And because there has not been any travel, and because people can't get on a plane as much, and they can't get away just to clear their minds or, you know, recalibrate in order to do better at work or whatever, we're attached to our computer into our home office, literally our office in the home, not our home office, but our office in the home. um, we're going to see long-term mental health. We're seeing major problems with families falling apart, divorces, um, children not being taken care of, or anger. And so all those are really going to be long-term impacts of this coronavirus.
yes. Well, there's still going to be years, I think, before we really can get to some kind of a normal, what is accepted by everyone. And we just all have to get through there. It's nothing we can do except for protecting ourselves. And this is why wearing a mask, washing your hands, and all these things are so important.
Well, I think, this is also something that some of these passport ideas that we've discussed today would really be valuable for the World Tourism Network. Of course, we had our last Friday, and be wherever your Friday was, a Thursday night or Friday, depending where you are in the world, uh, our celebration, or our anniversary, maybe is a better word, for the founding of the World Tourism Network. It came out of pain, but I'm hoping that we sowed in tears. Let's hope that we reap in joy, and that the World Tourism Network goes beyond just COVID, becomes some way that small businesses and medium-sized businesses can work together around the world. And maybe one of the things they can do is push for the idea of a chip in your passport, or in your, most countries have an identity card, so it could be, in the magnetic strip on the identity card, or on your almost every state in the United States has a magnetic strip on its driver's license. So again, those would be really great ways that people would be able to travel, not be fearful. And then if we could push for instant testing, that's going to allow, boy, life is going to be so much easier, and it's going to really solve a lot of health problems.
No, absolutely. This is a good idea, and this is hopefully it's just a matter of a short time period
Yeah.
before this is implemented. It probably takes just a few countries and a few states to start this system before others go along
Yeah,
with this.
that's something I'd like to see the World Tourism Network do. Is really push
Absolutely.
that.
It could be a really good project. Yes.
I think yes, and hopefully some of our listeners, many of the people who listen to us are in the WTN, and if you're not, you should be. Maybe it would be good just for the ending tonight. Tell us a little bit about how the whole marking of 1 year went on Friday, and also what do you think we accomplished over this last year? This has been probably the toughest year in tourism. And one of the good things that did come out of it was the World Tourism Network. But what did we accomplish, and what are our goals?
Well, at least we got people talking, and I think we were able to get people from the government level, from the ministerial level, to tour guides that talking to each other, what is very important. And this is what Zoom can do for you. In meetings, it's kind of a segregated, they're probably kind of segregated events. You have the ministers talking to each other, and you have the tourism boards talking to each other. But the small guy who runs a small travel business is usually not part of this discussion. And I think that's what the World Tourism Network was able to do, to get people from different kinds of life and different business background. We're all facing the same problem, to share ideas, and hopefully these ideas turned, at least in some places, to action and could make a difference. And this is really what I think now the time is coming, that really we can think about reopening our tourism industry once enough people get vaccinated. So the role for World Tourism Network would become quite a bit more important as we go along.
Well, that's really, I think a good way maybe to end, because we started the year and started our discussion today, somewhat with tragedies and challenges, but I think we're ending with hope. And I'm hoping that the year 2021, or even better stated, by this time next year, which would be March of 2022, we're looking at the whole COVID experience as a historical experience, and we're talking about what lessons did we learn and what mistakes did we make, and we could see it in the rearview mirror instead of in front of us. Of course, that's a hope. That's not a fact, but I think it's an important hope. And I think if we all work together, and if we all become part of the World Tourism Network, this is a way that tourism can speak with one voice and can really turn tragedy into hope, and we can take despair and make it a chance for revival and a real renaissance of the tourism world.
Wonderful, Peter. Nicely said.
Thank you.
And whoever wants to join the World Tourism Network, just go to WTN.travel. And if you wanted to listen to the session again, just go to livestream.travel, and you have a chance to do this.
And check out the new website.
And you can go to the new website, absolutely. There's a link right on top, upcoming events. Upcoming events means also archived events, so you can see both.
Okay. So again, that's a combination of past and future.
All right, Peter. All right. Okay, I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Very biblical way of seeing the world. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you. Aloha. Bye-bye.